Welcome back to California Cooking. Well, as Thanksgiving approaches, if you're in need of a little side dish inspiration, we've got a few ideas for your holiday meal. Plus, we're gonna take you to a beautiful restaurant for those who'd rather enjoy the feast without lifting a finger. Let's make our way to a hidden gem in Santa Monica. It's tucked just off Wilshire Boulevard. Fia offers a wonderful setting for a California Thanksgiving.
Hi, I'm Chef Tim, and welcome to Fia. Fia is our California restaurant. It's inspired by the Italian flavors, specifically the Amalfi Coast. And then we have our steakhouse, which is just your classic steakhouse. We have a cool Santa Maria grill, so we cook by live fire. Fia is set in this beautiful garden area. It's like this hidden gem in the middle of a crazy city. Just down Wilshire, it's loud, and then you walk down this brick-lined alleyway into this beautiful tree-lined area with open roof and good food and lots of chatting people and good music. We serve brunch on the weekend. A lot of great options, cool dishes like a Dutch baby. It's like this big, it comes in a cast iron, it has roasted apples, a maple creme fraiche, and a roasted apple butter. And then we have like lobster tartines, steak and eggs. It's a great place to have a party. We have a lot of events on the weekends, so you can bring your friends and have mimosas. I'm a SoCal boy born and raised in Boyle Heights. As a young kid, I would watch PBS cooking shows, so like Lydia Bastianich, Daisy, Rick Bayless, America's Test Kitchen. Those were like my favorite shows to watch on the weekend. And that's where I really loved to learn how to cook. And then when I went to college, I had to fend for myself, so I started cooking for myself. And I was inspired by Ina Garten, honestly, just watching the Food Network, cooking her recipes at home, and throwing dinner parties for my friends. I worked with Suzanne Goen for 10 years at Luke and then at Caldo Verde, and now I'm here. For Thanksgiving, it's a great place to enjoy a Thanksgiving dinner with your family. We do have a couple options. So we have a regular option, which is a family-style feast with a little salad to start. It has persimmons, beets, and a little pecorino. And then you have your choice of entrees. You can either get turkey with the Madeira sage brown butter stuffing or the New York prime strip loin. It comes with some macaroni and cheese for the table, some roasted fall veg, some Parker House rolls, house-made cranberry sauce, and then your choice of either a pumpkin pie or apple pie. And then we also have a vegan option as well. It's the same salad without the cheese. For the entree, it's an assortment of vegetables. You have some marinated trumpet mushrooms with sumac and cumin. We have a roasted fall vegetable with balsamic. We have honey nut squash with the barberry salsa. And then we also have some grilled sourdough bread and a baked potato with salsa verde. My top Thanksgiving tip for all you home cooks is to prep items that you can prep the night before and then just put in the oven, heat up so that you can spend more time with your friends and family. Stuff like macaroni and cheese, casseroles, gratins, stuff that's just super easy to heat up the day of. Next, I'm gonna show you how to make our Madeira and sage brown butter stuffing. I love it because it has all the flavors of fall. It has sage, rosemary, thyme, brown butter, and a little Madeira for that like nutty richness. First, we're gonna go ahead and heat up a pot, put in a little olive oil. And then once the olive oil is warm, I'm gonna go ahead and throw in a sprig of rosemary, a couple bay leaves, and some arbol chilies. I'm gonna crack them open so that we get those little seeds mixed inside, and we're gonna let that sizzle for a little bit, just until you can smell the flavors of the rosemary and bay leaf. And then while that's going, I'm gonna go ahead and brown some butter. I like to get my pan really hot and then put in the butter, and then just let it melt, and you can kind of just let it go. All right, now I can smell the rosemary sizzling in the pan, so I'm gonna throw in a little fennel and a little onion. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little salt and pepper, and you're just gonna cook this until the vegetables are soft. And this is gonna make your house smell really, really good. All right, so you see the butter starting to bubble. You can kind of just let it coast until you start to smell like that nutty flavor, and then it starts to get a little brown, and then that's when I'll start really watching it to make sure it doesn't burn. Brown butter is like one of those secret ingredients. It smells good, it makes everything taste incredible. All right, so now it's starting to turn brown. You can see it's getting a little dark at the bottom, and this is when you really want to start watching it just to make sure it doesn't go too far. So it's pretty much done. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the heat. I'm gonna pull it away from the heat, and then I'm gonna add a little bit of sage. And it smells so good right now. It smells just like fall. And then I'm gonna go ahead and throw in the Madeira. Even though we're outside, this whole garden smells delicious. All right, I'm just gonna put that aside and then continue to cook my vegetables. The vegetables are starting to get soft, and this is when I go ahead and throw in a little bit of Tuscan kale, also known as cavolo nero. And you kind of just want to tear it up with your hand. Just saute that a little bit. And then I'm gonna go in and throw in a little bit of thyme. And then your turkey stock, you can use chicken stock if you don't have turkey stock, and just let that come up to a little boil. And then earlier before this, I went ahead and tore some croutons, some sourdough croutons, tossed them with a little bit of olive oil and salt, and then toasted them until they were brown. They're still soft on the inside, and then so they're gonna soak up all of that turkey stuffing. That turkey stock. The stock is boiling. Go ahead and throw in your croutons and just stir, and then go ahead and throw in your brown butter, Madeira, and sage mixture. And you just want to stir until all that stock has been soaked up by those croutons. If you need a little bit more stock, go ahead and add it. And like this for you. And here you have your Madeira and sage brown butter stuffing. Here we have our Madeira and sage brown butter stuffing. Hope everybody has a very happy and safe Thanksgiving.
Coming up, I know turkey is the star of the show, but for me, it's all about the sides. I've got a few ideas to make your veggie side dishes craveable. Gone are the days of boring boiled holiday veggies. This recipe will turn even Brussels sprout skeptics into fans. Okay, we're talking Thanksgiving sides, and today it's really gonna be things you have had before. I'm not reinventing the wheel, but I am gonna take veggies and kick them up a notch. And I always think veggies shouldn't be an afterthought, like, oh, let me just boil up some Brussels sprouts. Make them delicious so people wanna eat your veggie sides if you're gonna go to the trouble. So the first thing I'm gonna do is Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts, mixed reaction. Not everyone loves them, but for those that do, this is, I think, a nice take on it, and I think you could convert some people to love Brussels sprouts with this one. So I'm gonna half or quarter the Brussels sprouts, roast them in the oven, and then I'm gonna add dates, cut up pistachios, and some Parmesan cheese, and kind of do a salty, sweet take on the Brussels sprouts. But the first thing you wanna do is roast them and get them nice and brown. That's where they start to taste flavorful, they get kind of nutty. They're not like the boiled Brussels sprouts you had as a kid. The other thing I'm gonna make today is a green bean casserole, but I'm gonna do it from scratch. So homemade mushroom gravy, homemade onions on top. To that, some olive oil and salt and pepper. And then we'll add some more flavorings once they're cooked. But just simple now. As Ina says, clean hands, and then just coat everything. I have an oven set at 375, so we'll check them after 15 minutes, see how they're doing. We're gonna top our Brussels sprouts with all kinds of yummy stuff, so they're not boring. We don't want boring Brussels sprouts. So I'm gonna take a few slices of bacon. I would say at least 3 or 4. I'm gonna chop that up into little pieces, and I'm gonna fry it up in the pan, get them nice and crispy. We're gonna add these to our Brussels sprouts. It's easier to cut bacon when it is very cold. So sometimes even popping it in the freezer for a little bit is helpful. Bacon going in. doctoring up our Brussels sprouts because we want them to be delicious and not an afterthought on the Thanksgiving table. So we've roasted them. Now for the toppings. I'm going to, and these honestly could be room temperature. Another great thing about this dish, it does not have to be served hot, which is nice. You don't have room in the oven, that's okay. So these right now are room temperature. I'm gonna add some olive oil. I happen to have balsamic glaze on hand. You don't have to use this. I think you could use regular balsamic and maybe add a little bit of honey. You could do lemon and add a little bit of, sweetness. I've got our bacon, nice and crispy. And then our dates. So I have these beautiful medjool dates that are pitted, and I'm gonna chop these into small bits. So that'll give us a little bit of the sweet. Just a couple, or really as many as you like. It's up to you. So dates going in, pistachios. You could just do a rough chop on the pistachios. Pistachios going in, and some really good Parmesan cheese. Take the peeler and just stir that up. And this is where you taste test. I think I need a little more olive oil, even a little more of this. It looked a little dry. So you just feel it out. Okay, now you give it a taste. Just get a little bit on all the things. You get the sweet from the date, tangy from the vinegar, you get crunch of the pistachio, and then the Parmesan cheese. I think that's a winner. Coming up, it's the same flavor you know and love from the classic green bean casserole you used to eat growing up, but I'm elevating it. Plus, can't go wrong with veggies, roasted in Parmesan cheese. I'll have that side dish for you as well. It's the nostalgic flavor you remember from the classic green bean casserole, but slightly elevated. On to our green bean casserole, which many of us grew up with the mushroom soup out of a can and the crispy fried onions. I'm going to do the same kind of casserole, although my mom never made this green bean casserole. She made something a little bit different, but I still love the idea and I love mushrooms. So I'm gonna make a homemade mushroom gravy, fry up some shallots to put on top, and just try to make this green bean casserole the same flavor you know and love, but maybe a little more elevated. So I've got some beautiful mushrooms. I've got all different kinds of, you could do plain white button mushrooms. I've got baby Bella. I've got these gorgeous, I think this is a trumpet mushroom. So, explore a little, try different mushrooms. Beans are cooking in salted water. They don't have to cook very long, and then when they're out of the boiling water, I'm going to plunge them into an ice bath, which is what I have here. It's just ice and water, and that stops the cooking and also keeps the veggies green. To our mushrooms, just gonna start chopping them up. I think the more the better. A nice mushroomy gravy with real chunks of mushroom. Now the beans, you wanna cook them until they're almost soft. You still want a little bit of bite to them because this is gonna bake for a little bit. I'm gonna go get the beans out of the water. Okay, mushrooms are done. Beans are in the ice bath. Now crispy onions on top. I have shallots that I have peeled, and I'm gonna cut these into pretty thin rings. Then what I'm gonna do is coat them in flour and give them a quick fry and top these on our casserole. And shallots just work because they're more mild and they're the perfect size too. Time to cook our mushrooms. Also, I drain the green beans because you don't want them to be wet. If they're wet, it'll dilute your mushroom gravy, so get these as dry as you can. Even, I would say cook them even the day before you make this. Make sure they're really dry is gonna help. To our pan, a pat of butter, olive oil, mushrooms in. While mushrooms are cooking, I'm gonna get some garlic, maybe a clove or two will go into our sauce. Mushrooms and garlic are kind of best friends. More butter because it's sticking a little. Mushrooms soak up everything. I'm gonna put my garlic in, and I haven't salted the mushrooms yet for a reason. When you add salt, it draws the water out, which makes it harder to brown your mushrooms. So I usually add salt towards the end of the cooking process. Mushrooms have cooked down. I'm gonna add salt now. Gonna mix. And then now to our mushrooms, we're going to add flour. Flour is going to be the thickener that makes this sauce. And you wanna cook your flour so it doesn't taste raw. Now to that, I have mushroom broth. I'm gonna stir this around, and we're gonna scrape up all the bits, let this come to a bubble, and hopefully it thickens. I'm gonna add some more flavor. I'm gonna add a little bit of Dijon mustard and some Worcestershire. We're gonna stir, and then to this, heavy cream. And the heavy cream will give us that creaminess that cream of mushroom soup has. So that is a beautiful consistency. Now is when I would taste the gravy. Make sure it has enough salt. Think about the fact that the beans don't have much flavor, although we salted the water. Sometimes want this to be a little saltier than you would think. Good. I'm gonna put the green beans in here to make sure they're extra dry. Just get all that moisture off those green beans. Now, pour the sauce over these green beans. So now we just stir all of that. I'm gonna put this in the oven now while we're gonna fry up our shallots. Now to fry our shallots. A little butter and a little olive oil. And then I'm gonna do this to kind of get them to form rings, break them up. To our onions, I'm gonna just do a light coating of flour, just so they have a little bit of a crunch to them. So we just do that, right? May need to do it in batches. Let's see. Okay, I think what I'm gonna do is just add those while this is cooking. I'm just gonna add those two right on top of our casserole and let things just kind of cook together. Green bean casserole, homemade mushroom soup. It's bubbly. You've got the crispy onions on top, just like Mom used to make, sort of. One more side dish for you to enjoy this Thanksgiving, and it's so easy. Here's my crunchy, cheesy, and downright delicious Parmesan crusted veggies. I don't know if you guys have tried this preparation, which you can really do with anything. You can do it with potatoes, vegetables, but basically the base of what's going on here is Parmesan cheese. And I think this would be kind of a fun little twist to add to your Thanksgiving this year. So grated Parmesan, baking sheet, that's for starters. I'm gonna do 2. Over here I've got parsnips and sweet potatoes. You could do carrots, you could do Brussels sprouts. Honestly, green beans, any veggie would work with this preparation. It's super simple. So I've peeled my sweet potatoes and my parsnips. So I'm gonna do, I think, cuts like this. You want flat surface area. Parsnips done. I'm gonna throw them in this bowl. And then our sweet potatoes. Same thing. Maybe I'll do sweet potatoes this way. The more flat surface area you have, the better, because then the Parmesan will stick. Let's start there. I've got melted butter, unsalted butter, and olive oil. I'm gonna pour that, probably a tablespoon or 2 of butter, maybe a tablespoon or 2 of olive oil. Thyme, I'm gonna use some fresh thyme. You just pull back and all the leaves come off. You don't even have to chop it. Get everything coated. Salt, black pepper. Here's what you do. And I think I'm gonna separate because they may cook differently. So I'm gonna do sweet potatoes on one tray. You just nestle it in there, and then magic happens in the oven. Okay, and we'll do our parsnips. This is really easy to do on Thanksgiving morning. There we go, in the oven, 400. Oh boy, veggies are done. Now that cool thing I said happens in the oven when you do the Parmesan cheese. Let me show you. So you don't flip them, you just cook them enough so they're soft in the middle. You put a fork in it, make sure that they're cooked. So basically what happens, the bottoms get this crispy bit of Parmesan cheese attached to every bite. Just have to be a little careful. Look, flip it over. Look at that. That's a winner right there. Let's try our sweet potatoes. Oh boy. Oh my goodness, look at that. What you could probably do is just lay a few bits of thyme on top just to make it festive and pretty. Your guests won't know what hit them. Look at this. If there's any way to eat a parsnip, yum. Give them a try. For the recipes we featured today, you can follow us on Instagram at KTLA California Cooking. Well, that does it for us. Thanks for watching, and happy Thanksgiving.